Hey guys and girls out there in MIDI Guitar Land. Today I want to do a quick demo of using the MIDI Guitar 3 hex tracker with the MIDI caster tool so that you can use the hex function of MIDI Guitar 3 standalone beta in your DAW that doesn't support multi-channel audio inputs for plugins. For example, Bitwig has some issues with that, and even though Logic Pro is technically supposed to be able to do that with the surround inputs, I couldn't actually get it to work in there. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. First thing you want to do is open up your MIDI guitar beta. I don't have any fancy stuff set up here. In fact, I could probably turn that off altogether, I think. Okay, so I have a preset here that I've created called Sand MIDI Guitar 3 HexNet. So when you open up the thing, you want to make sure your tracker's on. Once you've done that, you want to make sure the audio device is set up. I've got no output. Input is SY1000. I'm using the hex pickups, and I always leave that on. 128 buffer size recommended. Automatic threading good. Okay, all sorted. Yeah, right. So every time you do that with the audio settings, it reverts you to the introduction patch. So I'm going to have to reload the preset. That won't happen if you're not doing any kind of reset thing. For whatever reason, my SY1000 is getting dragged back to 44.1 kilohertz, even though I always want to use it at 48. So alright, so I'll take it back to 48. Introduction again. Back to here. Okay, so I'm using this send and it's all good. Now, the reason I've got this MIDI output tool activated here is because Bitwig, I'm not sure exactly how it works with other DAWs, but Bitwig doesn't actually it doesn't forward MIDI from the MIDI Guitar 3 plugin instantiated inside the DAW back into the system. So if you wanted to play some software synth or something, like maybe if you wanted to play Polymer or Phase 4 or whatever inside Bitwig, you would the native Bitwig synthesizers, you would need to be able to get the MIDI from here into there. So I've just added that one in. The MIDI caster tool is pretty straightforward. You just open up, which one is it? Tools? Yeah. Select the MIDI caster there, gives you this box here. Choose Beam Audio and MIDI. Plug in on the same computer. The only other thing I would mention is that when you configure your hex setup, in my case, I have to choose output 2 to feed any audio chains on the DAW instantiated plugin side, because my SY1000 sends a DI signal out on channel 2 and channel 1 also, but I don't really use that one. It's a model guitar. Not yet, anyway. Yeah, so there's that. Make sure that if that's a thing for you, set that, because otherwise it will use it, I think, what is an aggregated signal of those 6 strings, and it, for me, it generates a lot of noise and creates problems. So, and of course, you would also want to go to this plugin section and ensure that networking is enabled. And after you do that the first time, I believe you have to restart the application, but I've already done it, so I'm not going to restart anything. So the standalone is ready to go now. It's all cooked. Okay, so I'm going to go over to here, and I've got my interface all set up and everything. Okay, so that's good. I'm just using auto. Now, I could probably run this lower, but because I'm screen recording, it's a bit, in fact, maybe because I'm screen recording, I should even take it a little bit higher. See how that works out, because when I was recording at 256 without the screen recording, I didn't get any pops or crackles or anything. Everything was fine. But when I was screen recording and recording at the same 256, I would get the odd pop and crackle, which wind up on the source recording. Okay, so I've got this set here, MP3 network audio. I'll open that. Now, in this set, I've just got two parts. I've got here the MIDI Guitar 3 VST3 loaded, and it's going to open. Right. I can't use 512 for see if that helps. Should help. Okay. Default. That's not correct. This is not default. This is the preset that I saved here, and previously okay, so it loads like that. I'm just gonna I'm gonna just try and restart Bitwig because there's something a bit odd about that. Okay, so let's open that set. So I should remember that I'm at 256 and it should just open automatically. Sure, since Sequoia, every time it wants to ask for access. So this should be loaded now. Okay, good. So it's remembered at this time. Receive MIDI Guitar 3 hexnet -nolly x and Diva. Okay. So it's just a simple matter now. So that's just running Diva and archetype nolly. That's a volume control in front of that. That's just sending breath control to the cutoff filter. So it acts, kind of like a volume pedal also. And that's getting, and I mean, the point is, I guess, that you can get close intervals. Okay, I'm probably not like making the most elegant case for this, but like if you're using a sound which is more suitable for you can hear all the voices of every chord without any problems like you might get if you're using the previous version of MIDI guitar. Okay, so just to kind of like compare that side by side, I've also set up a really simple group here which just has the same configuration, exactly the same presets from these respective plugins, the volume control with control by breath and the amp sound. Okay, and then I've got this synth. I was hitting a few little tuning issues there. I haven't tuned up my guitar perfectly. Not terrible, but it's not exactly perfect. So yeah, that's just using, I'm not using Diva here, I'm just using one of the internal synths, but I just wanted to do that just to prove the point and show that you can get the MIDI from the MIDI guitar out, virtual MIDI port here. And I think if you select that, just keep it highlighted. Yeah, you can see that it's string. Each string has its own MIDI channel. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So I hope this is helpful to you if you're trying to figure out maybe how to use MIDI Guitar 3 in Bitwig, and probably this will apply to some other DAWs too. Okay, just for the hell of it, I just want to see if maybe this will work in Logic also, because as I was saying, I had a bit of trouble getting the multi-channel audio input, the surround input, to work with the MIDI Guitar 3 plugin. I'm going to try again, but let's see. So first of all, okay. So you can choose a device with no input, but what's going to happen when you choose MIDI Guitar 3, it's going to say your DAW isn't sending any audio. And normally you would click monitoring or something, but what I found is that you have to select something, anything. Now I could choose that, but I'm just going to choose this just to prove the point. It's a dummy port. It doesn't actually have anything on it. And even though I've selected the port now, and even if I select the input monitoring, it's weird, I know. Maybe I'll just select this. Okay. You always have to close it and open it again to get the interface to load. Okay, then if you open up the receiving preset, should work. Okay, so that's working, and I think even if I change this to the I think this can actually be anything. That's not Okay, so yeah, it works in there, and I'm also thinking now, just how about just using? Yeah, no, I'm not even going to bother going down that road. I already tried with the surround, and it was a pain. So that's it pretty much. It's much easier to use in Ableton Live, I would say. But just a proof of concept. Again, I like to prove concepts. And I hope that's helpful to you out there in your pursuits for MIDI guitar greatness. Catch ya.